Hello and welcome to Metal Gear Explained. We have a lot of news that should be coming soon, and we taking a little pause from making content to prepare for it, but we wanted to do a community-based feature project right now. We're going to be reading out your comments and sharing some opinions, some funny stuff, some exciting stuff. It should be a very cool ride. Super grateful for you guys and excited to kind of dive deep into this one. And we're going to enjoy ourselves a little bit. So just kick back and enjoy this. Well, of course, we will have news and breakdowns for the Metal Gear series. But for now, this is for the community, just a thank you to you guys. So let's get into it. First thing I'm going to do is showcase the question. One of the places that I posted this was on our YouTube, Metal Gear Explained. I said, hey, share some of your opinions of the Metal Gear series, the worst and the best. And we have tons, and I'm going to only showcase them here for the start and then have some footage in the background so you guys can enjoy. And we can get into the talk about this. Okay, so let's do it. All right, so we're going to watch some of these trailers from Metal Gear Solid Delta as we do so, and then we're going to discuss exactly what you guys are saying. So first things first, 12 Mark says MGS2 is underrated and probably the best in the series. I don't think that's a worse take, and I will roast it either way because that's the point of this video. First of all, you must like tight clothes on women, and Raiden must be reminding you of your high school crush. Just saying. That's my roast. But on a real tip, I definitely think part 2 was a mind-blowing experience. It was probably the craziest twist and just like very odd compared to the other stuff where it's kind of straightforward. You get betrayed and things happen in most of the series. This one kind of takes you to the, was this real? At the very end, spoiler alert. But yeah, that's a good take. I'll take it. Then someone right below that, badass Raiden, says MGS4 was the best in the series, and the nanomachines explained everything isn't a cop-out. It's literally been the main reoccurring antagonist since MGS1, aka Fox died. I agree with that for the most part. I think people will contest that MGS4 was fan service, and I would assume you like seeing Johnny's butt cheeks every time he got a poop, and that's why you think part 4 is so good. But it you know, you go and extend your comment, and it's a pretty deep comment. Solid Snake is the best character. He is one of the best, right? But I definitely feel like MGS4 is special. I play MGS4 the most out of all of them because of the nostalgia, because it kind of brings you back through the whole series, right? It kind of connects you through everything that's happened before. So I love it for that specific reason. And the atmosphere, you know, just a lot of good stuff. So I can't argue with you that it's a bad take, man, to be honest, but good stuff. Appreciate you. And then Roman Pierce says the boss let Naked Snake win. Yes, that's not a bad take, actually. Big Boss is the best character in the series. That's not the worst take, but I will say this. The boss let Naked because he was naked. You know, I don't know where you want to do with that information, but yeah. Fans only, right? But yeah, I think that Big Boss definitely has this appeal to him, like a nostalgia, but since he's not Solid Snake, he has his own demeanor, and he's not as, you know, let's say frisky as Solid Snake has been. Get it? Solid. But yeah, so that's how I feel, and I can't argue with you on that. Then our buddy Aries Sorrow says, and by the way, all these Metal Gear names are the best. Appreciate you. He says, Peace Walker is one of the best games to ever enter the series. I actually had Peace Walker, before I roast you here, I actually had Peace Walker as the absolute Greatest handheld ever created at the time of its release. Of course, more games have released after, Zelda Breath of the Wild, all that stuff. Very good stuff. But Peace Walker's a very amazing product that they put together. You know, you can co-op with friends. You have amazing missions. This cutscenes were really good for a handheld. I mean, you got to think about this. This is a PSP, PS Vita, of its time. So that is insane. The way they did all of those features, all the different things. It even had an online matches that people probably don't remember. I always played the onlines, but yeah. Hopefully it does come out for volume 2. But I can roast you on that and say maybe you a little bit you deserve some Diddy time in jail for all of the past stuff that's kind of creepy, to be honest with you, even though she's 26, I think, at that time. But yeah, come on, man. And then we have Joff. I don't know how to say her name. Sorry. Metal Gear Solid 3 is the most handsome game I ever seen. And this is an inside joke from my community. Somebody typed that into my chat, into one of the chats once by accident. They said something about it's handsome. And they meant handsome or something. They were talking about something totally different. And I basically turned it into a meme where the game is handsome. You know? Game's a handsome game. And I would say, please, somebody leave that in the comment. Thank you. And then Joseph Joe Star says Portal Ops should be the next remake, not Peace Walker. And you know what? I don't mind, dude. I think Portable Ops, out of the spin-offs, story-wise, it fits the best. It's kind of like out of all those spin-offs, there's some spin-offs that are outrageous. They don't even fit into the real lore. But Portal Ops kind of does, even though there's a little bit of retconning. I'm not going to be one of those hardcore lore nerds, but I can see it. But I can say, you know, I don't know. I'm just going to leave that one there because I don't want to get too deep into it, but who knows? We'll see what happens. Master Collection Volume 2 from Joey Jr. says, should be completed Phantom Pain with the cut mission. That's an interesting take. And you know what? I got the chapter 3 for you right here, man. I got it right here. See, you probably looked up on the screen while you weren't looking. Gotcha. Oh, man. And then we have Liquid Truth says Venom, Snake is Gray Fox. And here goes one. And so before we get started, way back in Metal Gear Solid 1 and 2, I started to think that the series was going to have thousands of clones. I honestly felt like they're probably going to have thousands of clones. You know, they're going to push this whole endless amounts of Solid Snakes. And that was my ignorant thinking at the time. I was actually playing part 2 thinking maybe this isn't Solid Snake and this is like a clone of his who's pretending. And of course, you know, you're a little younger and you're naive and you're making up your own ideas. And I was writing these articles assuming this possibility that the series will have thousands of Solid Snake clones. And so then with Gray Fox, for example, this become popular later on, and there's people obsessive with this. I don't want to upset you guys, but it's kind of embarrassing the amount of obsession for Gray Fox that exists. And not to say that it's bad. You know, we want to have amazing, you know, excitement and interest in the series, but I do think it's a little over obsessive, and it got to the point that it's embarrassing to me. And let's just cut it out. And that's not even a roast. That's me being honest. I was joking with all this other stuff. But at this point, man, y'all got to let it go, bro. It's fun, but there's so much better theories out there. But who cares? If Venom is us, the players. That's what Kojima originally racially stated. So that is my real answer. And I didn't even joke about anything on that whole segment that I just said. So yeah. And then we have Tom Dave Scotland. Whoa, what a name, dude. He says, Old Snake is the best Snake in the series. I felt like performance-wise, David Hayter gave us probably one of the most legendary. I I don't know. Maybe this is. I kind of remember him saying this is one of his favorites because there's so many moments in there, like phrases and very badass things that this old Snake does. And I'm assuming you're pretty old yourself. You got to be over 30 or 40 maybe. And you're like, he's the best because I'm old too, man. I know. You grandpa. No grandpas from now on. Let's ban all the grandpas. All right. And then we got Bello. Says MGS3 is the best overall in the series. Balanced gameplay. And that's not a bad take, man. But I will say, I think that you just got to crush on the one and the only, you know, Big Mama. And it's just weird calling her Big Mama. I've never want to call nobody Big Mama. But yeah, that's what you're on, man. That's going to be your new nickname. Big Mama fan. All right. MGSV sucks. Peace Walker is 50 times better. And it was made on the PSP. No. And the only thing I want to roast that with, you just salty about Kojima leaving and you salty about seeing cut content. The truth is, every single game in the series has had a lot of cut content. I don't know if you watch documentaries for like the making or behind the scenes stuff. I've always kept up with it, and they have a lot of cut content. And Phantom Pain has some of the greatest gameplay in it, regardless if you like the story or regardless if you're mad that there wasn't you fighting a 12-year-old trying to kill a 12-year-old, which is insane. I don't know what's wrong with you, dude. You need jail time. And then Monkey Heist says MGS1 is more thematic and interesting than 3. I wouldn't say that you're wrong, but you're wrong. Okay, you're wrong in the sense that 3 has a really hardcore theme. It even has a filter, a yellowish filter or orange, whatever color you want to call it, where it gives it a different feel, you know. And MGS1 was thematic, had a lot of really amazing aspects to it. And I think every one of them had different styles, and that's important. One of my favorite things, and this is not a joke no more, but one of my favorite things about the series is that they all have their own style and presentation and like feel to it. And that's what's important, because it always felt different when I played them. You know, as we watch these highlights of the series, it really did feel different. So Monkey Man, you're not wrong and you're not right. I don't know what's wrong with you, but you're definitely, yeah. Then we got Craig Field says MGS2 was the best story, but it was ruined because of MGS4 Patriots revealed. We didn't need to know. Yeah, I think knowing about the Patriots makes it even more special to me. The Patriots are possibly, you know, one of the best antagonists in the series. They're the strongest, of course, but the best because you just don't know. Like, you had so much mystery to everything that was going on, and you're right, man. I want to roast you, but I'm gonna let you be. I don't feel like that's a bad take. I feel like it was incredible to have that mystery. Sometimes knowing the mystery can ruin things, but I appreciate you. Jonathan Taro, okay. He said, I don't know what to write, the best or worst. This is possibly the worst comment of all of you guys. Wowzers. You know what? You lost, dude. You lost. Well, you won. Worst comment of all. I'm going to take a moment. He's asking, what should I type? And let's embarrass him. Somebody, if you're watching this, go reply to him. You somehow won and lost at the same time. All right, that's what we're gonna do. That's what we're gonna do, folks. I'm really gonna reply, and he's not gonna know until he sees the video. Good luck with that, sir. And then we got Tinfoil says MGS is a great series. Kojima and Konami leaving. As good as Delta looks, I'm not buying it. Totally cool. Listen, man, you can spend your money on Pokemon Go microtransactions. I'm perfectly fine with that. My favorite joke is to tell people to go play Pokemon Go. Kind of like saying something really bad in bad words, but that's how I say it. telling people to go play Pokemon Go. And you know what? Go for it. I don't expect anybody to care about any game. Never mind Metal Gear. Like I do love the series, and I am here promoting it for myself. It's more my fan service and joy that allows me to make these videos. So actually, I can care less. And that's not a roast. That's like being real with you. So if you don't want to play for it, play none of the games. That's fine too, man. If you still want to hang out and talk about the series, that's cool too. If you don't, then better for me. I don't gotta read your comment in my worst take. Yo, got him. And then we have, last but not least, Sour Kyle says MGS3 is better than MGO2. Damn, bro. And you know what? I think you're the only one that got a reply. And I feel like that's the biggest rage. And that is probably the worst take in here. I have been the person who's gotten into wars because I played MGO3 a lot when it released. But it's because it's the newest thing and it's legal to play it. And MGO2 was not legal, so I was playing MGS3, but everybody knows MGS2 is top tier. And I feel like you're flaming me. I'm gonna flame you back because if that's how you really feel, then you have no taste, sir. But now I want to get into a couple of other comments in social media because I posted this on social media and I want to talk about some of the stuff. JF Plays says that he basically feels that the series has died once Kojima left. And here's the thing. Here's the thing, guys. As I said earlier, I don't care who's interested in the series or not, because I'm not making the game. If I was a community manager, developer, that's fine. As a YouTuber, I'm interested in my enjoyment, and I share that on my videos. And whoever's interested can play with me, but I don't necessarily care about this take about, you know, like, I don't care about the series no more. I want it to die already. It's like, that's a bad take. That's probably the worst take, and that's a more serious conversation. I just feel like, let people enjoy themselves. It's not like you're vegan and you don't want someone to eat meat. You shouldn't just go to a restaurant with them and complain that they're eating meat in front of you. It's like, yo, dude, just don't even come to the restaurant, dude. Go eat somewhere else if that's what you're gonna do. That's how I honestly feel. So yeah, don't be that guy. But yeah, there's a lot of bad takes. There's another one about Venom. Venom is the best character in the series, and again, he was just like Liquid. I mean, part 1 had some of the greatest characters in it, right? Venom, Liquid Snake, both those characters are very loved for their roles. And Mantis, right? Those are 3 world renowned in part 1. And then you go to part 3, and you keep going down the line of like bosses or just characters who help build. It is like Batman. You know, Batman has the Joker, who's probably almost as big as him as far as popularity, and people love to see him. And that's a good writing. Doesn't necessarily mean they have to be the main character, you know? And yeah, that's how I feel about some of these characters. And would I love a game where they say, hey, you're gonna play as Gray Fox? Sure. And I'll play that game, but it doesn't mean that Gray Fox is the only character in the series, you know? And another interesting one says, man, you know, I'm finally coming back to Metal Gear. I remember when you were the only one that loved this series. Thank you for the content. I appreciate you saying that. And first of all, yeah, that was a crazy time. 2015 was 15 and 16, 17, 18, like all of that time right there. Even now still, but in those times, everybody was against Konami. Everybody was trashing me because I was playing the game I love. And this kind of like, I'll probably end it with this speech here, but I was playing the game I love. I love the series. I've always loved it for 35, 40 years almost now. It's 38 years to be exact. I've been loving it from day one, and I play it all the time and making content for it. I got a YouTube channel for it. I would think I'm going to keep on enjoying myself. And so what happened was the community went against me. And now those same people who attacked me and went crazy are kissing Konami's butt and talking all extra cozy. Meanwhile, I keep it real. If I don't like something, I don't like something. If I do like something, I like it. I'm not playing that game. I'm always speak what I felt, regardless. Of course, I know how to speak positive and stay optimistic. But all those people, you know, I don't have nothing bad to say about them. I don't have malice versus them. But I remember them, and I see them on social media kissing butts out there. All of a sudden, their tone has changed, and I think it's funny. Who cares, man? Like, all that matters is that you can enjoy yourself, right? These video games aren't real life, and it's like if you can make a fun game, if they can remake the whole series, I'll take it. They make a new one that's good, I'll still play it. Will I think about Kojima? All the time. I actually think about him a little too much. That's my own roasting myself. I think about him a little too much. It's gotten to the point now where I'm like, hey, Lord Jesus, can you wipe this man from my mentality? He's been a big influence on me in a positive way. So I'm always going to think about Kojima. And Konami has control of Metal Gear. And maybe he'll do one last Metal Gear game before he retires. That's my personal goal. My hope is that he comes back and says, I'll do one more. And it's the most insane Metal Gear game of all time. You know, but who knows? We'll see what happens. But man, I appreciate you guys for all of the comments. There's a lot more. A lot of them are similar to some of these. These are the ones that I wanted to select. And that's why I'm not going to read all of them. This video is pretty long. I hope everybody that watched it enjoyed it. A little lightheartedness and more just answering community feedback, roasting some stuff. Again, this is all fun and games, nothing personal, and it's all just a good vibe. And to kind of roast myself, you know, Metal Gear Explained, a funny one that people didn't say on this video, but they were saying, you know, I'm doing a lot of news and not a lot of explaining, and it's true. But don't worry, the game is going to be coming soon, and I'm going to be dropping a lot of content and explaining it in detail. And, yeah, make sure you leave a like to boost up that algorithm, and then a comment on some of these takes. Your comments in this video will go on for the next roast that I'll do in the future. Maybe when we hit 3,000, 4,000, 5,000 subs. All right. So I appreciate y'all. Y'all have a blessed day. Take care of yourself. Stay good out there. Be good to yourself. Peace.